Today is the second day. So, today, again continuing with our study of Bhagavad Gita, along with Thakur's teaching, the subject of spiritual life or intensifying spiritual aspiration and spiritual goal towards that. So, we begin with some chanting as I did yesterday. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Yo Brahmanam Vitadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedascha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave. Yesterday we discussed about the second half, various qualities which are spoken of in the 13th chapter of the Gita, where discussion is about Kshetra Kshetrajna, which means the field and the knower of the field. And as part of that, we read about and discussed what is called the Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, which means to attain that state of jnana. One thing which comes as a constant issue before all human beings, all seekers especially, spiritual seekers, is what is the role of karma in our life? How do you place karma in our spiritual aspiration? And in general, what is karma? As people who are born in the Hindu faith, in the Hindu tradition, we are all acquainted with the term karma. If somebody is born in some other faith, he may take some time to understand this whole concept. We have been hearing about it since our childhood. If something goes well, we say, "Ye mera acha karma tha." And if things do not go well, obviously say, "Kuch tha galat karm, isliye nahi ho paya." Ya aisa mere ko galat, I got these results. So the idea of karma is not just a philosophy. It is not something. Philosophy means to try some idea, some concept. It is something which is a reality of life. In the Shvetashvatar Upanishad, I had mentioned that yesterday also, is the Rishi says that it is very necessary to remember that whatever we do, until it bears its results, it will not come to an end. Which means every action will have its result. Some people might do or say things, "Oh, nobody has come to know it." Secret. But really speaking, there is no secret in the law of karma. It's all very open, well recorded, and well documented. You know, in our Hindu Puranas, Yamaraja has got an assistant called Chitragupta. Chitragupta Mandir is right in front of Delhi Ashram. So if you analyze the word Chitragupta, there also Gupta Rupena Chitrayati. In a silent way, like you have a CCTV, it records all your actions. A supercomputer. It doesn't leave anything behind. There are some stories also from the lives of various rishis and saints. In South India, there are two famous names, Purandaradasa and Kanakadasa. So Kanakadasa is supposed to have come from in Karnataka side. He had come from his background was that he was a shepherd, goat, बकरियों को चराते थे. That is how he came into that background. But he had extraordinary devotion and honesty of purpose. So it is said that once Vyasaraya was his guru. So Vyasaraya had other disciples also. So all the Vyasaraya's love for Kanakadas was more than others. It's very visible. So some of the disciples felt uncomfortable. Jealousy comes even among disciples also. So some of them one day asked one of them, "Why do you love him so much than others?" Then Vyasaraya said, "Wait, there are reasons. You will understand this, why I love him so much." So next day he calls all his disciples, 5, 6 of them, and gives them a fruit, maybe a banana or an apple, and says, "Go and eat where nobody is seeing you, and then come and report to me. I'll give you so much time. Next, you come and report to me." So all went, and next day when they returned, he asked each one of them, one by one, "So, did you eat that fruit the way I told you?" He said, "Yes." The first one said, "Yes." "So, how did you eat?" "I went and closed the door and inside I ate. Nobody saw me because you told me to eat fruits when nobody should see me." The other one said, "I went up the hill there, so nobody was there around, there I ate." Another one said that I went on a tree, hide behind myself all the leaves, and there I ate it. When it came the turn for Kanakadas, he was asked, he produced the fruit. He says, "Gurudev, I could not eat the fruit." Why? Wherever I went, I felt that some divine power is watching me. How could I fulfill that condition which you told me to fulfill? So I did not eat at all. Now, then he says to his disciple, "Now you understand why I love him so much. He has this quality." Same way, karma cannot be hidden. We might be able to hide from those agencies who are say on our money, on our tax, on our actions, on our various social activities. But when it comes to its results by the Yamaraja, because Yamaraja is giving the result finally. Actually, when a person dies, where does he go? See, as per his karma, he will go. And the karmas, Yamaraja will decide that whether he should go to hell or heaven, or whether he should go towards the ultimate mukti. In the Kathopanishad, Yamaraja is the teacher. So he tells the young Nachiketa that ayam loko asti napar itimani punah punah vasham agachet me. Those who say that this word is there and no other word is there, which means they don't believe in the afterword, they don't believe in higher reality. Punah punah, again, vasham agachet me. उनका जन्म बार बार होता है और मेरे वश में वो आते हैं. वो यमराज के वश में रहते हैं. मतलब they are born again and again. So however strong a person may be, clever he may be, his actions will be one day, he will have to bear the fruits of that. There is this, now it is gone. So there is a idea of understanding what karma is. But on the other side, we also have various desires which we need to fulfill, and there is also spiritual aspiration alongside, and this idea of karma. So let us try to put them in perspective. Yesterday we discussed about desires, and there was this question that avidya and then kama, which means he put it in a more practical thing that if we have a wrong knowledge, then we take a wrong, we are caught by a wrong desire also. In fact, if you go to what Shankaracharya says about the whole idea of creation and its movement, it's like a formula. It says avidya, kama, karma, sukha, dukkha, punarjanma, again kama, karma, and sukha, dukkha. It continues. So it begins with avidya, as we discussed that ekoham bahusyamaha. God was alone there, nothing else existed. Nothing else. There was nothing called creation. Creation was as if in a state of being withdrawn. It was in a very dormant state. God alone was there. Then we do not know. This is a spiritual explanation, not the scientific one, which we say there was a big bang theory and all. This is a spiritual explanation for that. Maybe nowadays they are also somewhere trying to come closer to that and say no, perhaps this idea of Brahman alone existed and then it slowly burst into this creation, became the creation. So why that happened, that is very difficult. In Swamiji's famous lecture given in a paper on Hinduism in the Parliament of Religions, there also Swamiji says, how did the perfect become imperfect? Because creation is somewhere imperfect. Something is there, something is not there. Or what Sri Goswami Tulsidas Ji Maharaj says, Guna doshmayi srishti kini. This srishti is guna and dosh mixed. It is not that is only gunas are there or only doshas are there. There is good and bad mixed. That is what this creation is. So first there was avidya was born. First of all, there was no need for avidya to be born, but it happened. And then avidya created a sense of lack. That sense of lack resulted in what we call as kama or desire. Sense of lack. I am this and I am not that. I am not complete. A sense of incompleteness comes. And from there is born karma. Kama and then karma. Karma is to overcome the kama. Sense of lack. That I lack something, I lack a particular object or something which will make me fulfill, so I need to work. And of course, in order to work, there are other things required. In order to work, you must have capacity to work, you must have resources to work, you must have all the other conjuncts which are necessary for the work to happen. Yesterday we discussed about 5 types of things which are required for making any work to happen. Now, from there is born sukha and dukkha. So all action that we do, ultimately, what they give us? They give us either sukha or dukkha. Now, sukha and dukkha are also very nicely explained in our tradition. We say sukha means pleasure, dukkha means unpleasant or miserable things or unhappiness. But if you say, what is the word sukha and dukkha? Again, we believe in ka. Ka means space. So there is a outer space in which we all live. Everyone lives in space. And there is also the inner space, the mental space. In the mental space, you have got either it is covered with good things or it is covered with bad things. It is good things means it is sukha, su and ka. Our mental space is covered with good feelings, it's called sukha. When it is covered with bad feelings or unhappy feelings, it's called dukkha. Now, sukha dukkha is what ultimately means all experiences. Either there will be papa and punya. papasya phalam tu sukham and sapapasya phalam tu dukkham and punyasya phalam tu sukham. Whenever this idea of papa and punya is so deep into our thinking in Sanatan Dharma, you see, recently when this Kumbh Mela happened, all these millions and crores of people who have gone there, it is to gain punya. That punya is very strongly attractive because we believe that punya will remove all our obstacles. And ultimately, punya, if a person has gathered punya, either he will go to heaven or pavananiti punya, he will become absolutely pure. The word punya itself means that which purifies. So either he will, after death, go to a place where he will enjoy the world, he will go to that loka and enjoy the world, that loka, and then after some time he'll come back and be born again, and then again accumulate fresh karmas. All this is explained through, this idea of karma is again further divided into three types. One is the sanchita karma, and is prarabdha karma, and then agami karma. Sanchit karma is a large storehouse, like Amazon has got its storehouse where all things are kept. An order comes and it is supplied. So it is each one of us has got a storehouse, sanchita, where so many endless karmas which we have done in the past are all stored up. But all karmas are not become operative. What will become operative is called prarabdha karma, prakarsha rupena arabdha, which has now started. And that which has started, it may be like taking out 5% of it. A working capital you take out from 100 rupees, and now I start working. That working capital is what we call as the prarabdha karma. And they say once the prarabdha starts, you can't stop it, it will happen. The other 95% is still not started. How that will go, that's a different thing. But here it is that it has started now. It is like you had an arrow in your hand and you shot it. Now it has gone out of your hand. It is going to hit the object towards which it was aimed. This is one thing which is spoken of, prarabdha. Sometimes prarabdha also they call it kriyamana karma. It is now working, kriya has started. And this will produce further results. And that will go to the agami karma. Fresh generation of income, fresh generation of karma is happening. So it's like a cycle that you have got sanchita, and from there you take out a small prarabdha, and from prarabdha again this agami karma is born. But can this chain be broken? First of all, in the Gita, in the 15th chapter, we say karmanubandhini manushya loke. Everyone is tied in the manushya loke by karma. Karmanubandhi. And again, in the 3rd chapter of the Gita, it comes that Gahana Karmano Gati. How the karma will work, it is very, very deep. Gahana. It's very difficult to say that whether it will work in this way or it will not work in the other way. There's one story this morning we were recalling that there was a person who was holding a cow. He wanted to kill the cow. He was going on the way. There was a function. People were being fed. What was that? Some shraddha was going on. So he thought, let me eat food here and then go. He sat there and had food and went and did his work. He butchered the cow. Now that they say the effect of that butchering had to be borne by the person who had fed him. How gahana karmana gati. It may be a small one or it may be a big one. It happens. So they say at the end of all our actions, for example, in our ashrams, whenever we do any activity, we had to say at the end we say Shanti Shanti 3 times, and then we say Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. That I don't try to own the results of the action. I offer it to the Lord. I offer it to Sri Ramakrishna. Which means I don't try to accumulate fresh karma. Even good works also. Good works also I do and then I leave it to the Lord. It's not that I leave only the bad. Again, Sri Ramakrishna's story comes to mind. There was this man who had created a beautiful garden, and in the garden he was very proud of it. He had brought plants from different parts of India or the country where he lived in. And then someone who has this kind of feeling is deeply attached to that. And one day, as he was not aware, a small cow entered the garden. He started eating up the plants. And this man came with anger, tried to shoo it away, but it was nowhere moving away. Then he took a big stick and hit it, and it got struck with some marma, some place, and it immediately died. Now his Viveka started in a different way. He said, "Acha, who killed?" Oh, then he realized I have done a Gohatya, which is considered a very great papa. So he said, "Acha, who did this karma? Oh, my hand did it. And my hand has got a devata. Every part has devata. So here also the Indra is a devata. So Indra did it. I did not do it." As soon as this his pushing all his papa towards Indra happened, it went to Indra. Indra said, "Oh, acha, this is the way." Immediately he came down the earth. He assumed the form of a noble man, and as if he is examining things, and he entered to that garden, and he was seeing things, and this owner of the garden came running. "ये क्या है, क्या है?" नहीं, जस्ट ऐसे ही जा रहा था, देखा इतना सुंदर बगीचा है, देख के जाओ, इट्स सो नाइस. Then he started further explaining. So this one I have brought from there, and they say when it is done with so much of effort, then you want to recall that effort. It is part of that whole process. So ये मैं यहाँ से लेके आया था, ये हम यहाँ से लेके आए थे. Then he went on telling, and suddenly he saw that cow, dead body of the cow, the dead cow there. Then he asked, "What is this?" No, this is a cow. No, but how? What happened? No, it got hit and it has died. Then who hit it? That man said, "Oh, we Indra killed it." Then the Indra assumed his form. Acha, all these things you did it. At that time you had a different hand, the same hand you had. Now you are, because you don't want to take Papa, so now you say Indra has done it. So this is one thing which is a very subtle truth of life. When I give to the Lord, I offer everything. I don't retain the good things and give only the bad to the Lord. So you take this all. So I made a mistake. I now offered this to you. Now I'll keep only the good things with me. No, you offer both to the Lord. In fact, they say, what is mukti? Mukti is like squaring up the accounts. It has to be tallied. The accounts have to be tallied. So their papa and punya, two accounts are there. They have to be made, they have to be tallied. Now they have come to a close. But first you have to do a lot of punya. It doesn't mean that papa and punya have to make them come to same level and I give up both. But first you have to do a lot of punya so that you become ready to give it up later. It purifies you within. Some people ask this question, should I do work or should I be meditating? Or should I give up this active life and be only doing meditation? For that, Sri Krishna actually places before us a fact. And this question is asked in the Gita, as we know, in the Karma Yoga chapter. Arjuna asked this question. He says, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. Tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. If you are saying the state of jnana is the highest, then why are you asking me to do action? Tat kim karmani ghore mam. Itna mushkil action hai, ghor action, ghor karma hai. And you seem to mix up things, O Lord. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim moha siva me. Tadekam vadanishchitya yena shreyo manapnaya. Tell me one thing, should I seek jnana or should I seek karma? Then Sri Bhagavan says, actually here is a very important truth. what he says. Loke asmin vividha nishtha pura prokta maya naga. In this world, there are two things, two types of nishthas. Jnana yogena sankhyanam, karma yogena yoginam. Most of us are actually fit for karma yoga or doing karma. Even karma yoga is one step still higher. And not exactly fit for that state of jnana. When he says there are two types of nishthas, loke asmin vividha nishtha. So if you take this word to be consisting of 100 people, how many people are fit for which nishtha? If we take this, we'll find very few people are really fit for the jnana nishtha. And how they have become fit for it? That too also it is said because they have worked out all their actions, their desires, and now they have become completely self-satisfied. Most people need karma. Most need to work. And not only that, he says, you cannot attain that state of jnana without action. Now, action has to be understood. We'll come to that. न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भ्य नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोष्णुते न संन्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति. न कर्मणाम् anarambha. Some person says, I will not do any action and I will sit, close the eyes and meditate. Something will bring, what chance may bring, I will eat and I will not make any effort, any action. Sri Krishna very clearly says it's a misunderstanding. Says, without karma, you can't attain that siddhi. Here siddhi is used. Na karmanam anarambhya naishkarmyam purushosnate na sanyasanadeva siddhim. The word siddhi, of course, Sanskrit has got so many, each word has got so many meanings. So the word siddhi could mean some power, some chamatkarik siddhi. Some person has some siddhi. He can cure people's disease or he can create something out of nothing. People get attracted by that. Or sometimes siddhi also could mean, especially in Bengali tradition, it means that a person is something intoxicating. But the word siddhi also means perfection. वो सिद्ध हो गया, सिद्धासन. ये आसन सिद्ध है, मतलब he can sit for a long time. Siddha means he has become perfect in that. Here specifically siddhi means spiritual perfection. He has become spiritually perfect. So he says without action, without undergoing the training called action, one cannot really attain that siddhi. And he says some people may say, I don't want to work. He says, no, you can't say that. You may say, I can't work. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatye akarmakrit. Akarmakrit, kuch nahi karke. No, you cannot sit. Constantly, because we are part of the prakriti. Our body is constantly working. Our body is not made to sit. It needs activity. It needs movement. Even to remain healthy, it remains all this movement. And not only in body needs that, even mind also requires movement. If the mind is always only stuck with something, it will not remain healthy. There are people, who say, I will not work. So empty brain, as we all know, is the workshop of the devil. No work is also a big problem. Too much of work, a person has got day and night, has to work so much, he has no time for himself. That also is one extreme he should avoid. But if a person has got only time to himself, all the time he is sitting, he has not developed any spiritual orientation, then after some time he will take up some small negative thing that happens. He will develop maybe a self-pity. He may remember somewhere he was not given the respect which he felt was due to him, etc., etc. So many negative things are in this world. I think it is in Hitopadesha, one verse comes which says, Shokasthani sahasrani divse divse pade pade panditam Murkham tam pravishanti panditam na avishanti cha. Which means shokasthani sahasrani. Sahasrani. The word sahasra in Sanskrit means many. It does not mean thousand. Thousand also it can mean, but generally many. सहस्र, thousands. So शोक स्थानी कितने चीज़ें हैं जो आपको दुखी कर सकती हैं? Hundreds of things, thousands of things. फैन चलाना था, फैन की हवा नहीं आई. खाना ऐसा होना चाहिए था, थोड़ा सा ऐसे हो गया. चेयर ऐसे होनी चाहिए थी, ऐसे हो गई. वेदर ऐसा था, ऐसे हो गई. I wanted to catch a train on time. Almost I just reached when then it started, or I left. Could not. Hundreds of things to make us unhappy throughout the day. Shokasthani sahasrani. And only he says, Murkham, those who lack wisdom, they get into those dukkha again and again to become shoka purna. Only Panditam na avishanti. Panditam does not mean, Pandit means जो पंडित का काम करते हैं, पूजा करते हैं, पाठ करते हैं. Not that. Panditam means a wise man. So a wise man never gets into that. So he says, na kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma. And he further explains, look, some people externally may not do things, but inwardly they all may have a lot of desires, ambitions, dreams. When they see somebody else fulfilling those dreams, either they become jealous or they develop self-pity. मैं तो कर ही नहीं पाया, वो उसने कर लिया. That kind of feeling comes. So that show should not be there. Na, he says karmendriyani sanyamya. Karmendriyani sanyam means we are not doing any action externally. Ye aste manasasmaran. One who is mentally remembering all things which the activity of senses can bring. Mentally he is having desires. But externally, as if he is very saintly person, so to say, in that sense. Indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara suchyate. Mithyachara means hypocrisy. That he is a hypocrite. He is deluded. Vimudhatma means he is deluded. Indriyarthan, he is remembering the Indriyarthan, which means the desire for bhoga is still very strong in him. Since the desire for bhoga is very strong, he should try to overcome it either by, in a dharmic way he tries to experience it, or try to remove it through viveka. Certain desires are not removed by viveka also. They have to be experienced. One has to undergo the experience. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, some people come to me for spiritual practice, for advice, seeking spiritual advice. So I find they are not ready for it at all. They are like people who should eat that fruit, which has got very less of the fruit portion, and after eating you also develop stomach upset also. So I tell, go and eat that fruit, which means go and enjoy the world. Once you enjoy the world, once you develop that that experience we have gone through, then you will come to me. Then I will give you the right thing. So Indriyarthan manasasmaran. He is thinking of the objects of senses. As we said, what is the object of senses? Like the rupa or whatever we are experiencing in terms of shabda, sparsha. All these things are called the Indriyarthan. So he is always trying to externally not show that he is interested, but internally he thinks he is actually having desires. So this two things that make him hypocrites. There are many hypocrites we come across in life actually. Especially in spiritual life, you will do come across. Swami Vivekananda says, those who take to spiritual life, he gives a formula, 80-15-5. 80% people become hypocrites. They want to show off. 15% because they were not prepared for it, they develop maybe even psychic problems. And 5% remain true to their ideal, sincere, and they attain to the goal. So 80%, 15% and 5%. So one of our sadhus used to say, see, the purpose of our all effort should be to remain in that 5%. Avoid getting into that 80% and 15%. So we should not get caught in this. What will happen if a person has really attained the goal of Karma Yoga? What happens if he has attained that fulfillment which he comes? So he says such a person will develop inner happiness. That inner happiness, yastu indriyani manasa niyamya arabate arjuna karmendriye karma yoga saktassa vishishyate. And then he says, that he has developed Atmarati, inside happiness. That is what is the ultimate product of taking up karma and doing it as a karma yoga. Because not all karmas are karma yogas. So yesterday we referred to Swami Vivekananda's definition of karma, where he said that karma means kri dhatu, kri means to do. That's true. Kri means to do. But along with kri, there is also a sense of I. That also, of course, Swamiji further explains in the first chapter of the Gita itself, of his Karma Yoga lectures itself. So what is the difference between, let's say, a fan is moving and a person is working? Fan has no sense of agentship. It is not a conscious principle. It's only a machine. So it is not accumulating any karma. In order to accumulate karmas, fresh karmas, there has to be a sense of karta. Karta is agentship, that I am doing this. To attain that state where a person, although he is working, yet he knows that he is not the karta, Prakriti is the karta, God is the karta. We do it as a sadhana. But to reach that place where it is no longer a sadhana but a state of siddhi is what the spiritual practice called Karma Yoga is aimed at. By constantly doing it, by repeatedly doing it, one gets it. So a person begins by doing first of all karma. Swami Vivekananda in his Karma Yoga lecture says man begins to do action by keeping various motives. Some people want to only earn money, that is why they do action. They want to become rich, they want to become wealthy. He says this is one motive. He is not saying that it is a wrong motive, it's a motive. But then he maybe goes further. He wants to not just have money, he also wants to become famous. There is another one motive. Swamiji quotes the Chinese, perhaps Chinese or Muslim, some sampradaya. He says that as soon as a person is born, he starts digging, he starts making a building for himself or where he will be buried later. Why? Because their belief is that as beautiful your, as more magnificent your place where you are buried will be, so much you would be really great. Very strange kind of belief, but that is what they believe. And some people believe that I should leave a mark behind. That's a very strong, this is called Lokaishana. Lokaishana, where the word is still real to him. He wants to leave the mark behind. Swami Vivekananda does not criticize even this. He says, yes, those people who are deeply into tamas, for them this is a very good idea. He says, leave the mark behind. Very good. But this is not the highest idea. He only takes us, step by step. He says, as man progresses, he discovers higher and higher ideals of life. And when he has discovered the highest ideal, which means he is now doing karma as completely as a offering to the Lord, not having any other worldly goal attached to that. But to come to that state of motive, that highest motive, itself is a long journey. A person has to first possibly go through all these lower motives. If a person thinks that I'll become fabulously rich and that will give me the happiness, you will find that rich or the money does bring certain things. But as the Kathopanishad says, Navittena tarpaniya manushya loke. In the manushya loka, as a human being, just by having vitta, money, you cannot have tarpaniya. Tarpaniya means complete satisfaction. We know people who have got a lot of money, but they are very unhappy also. There are people who have, because they had so much money, now they have fallen into some difficult circumstances. They come to the self-killing. How did it happen? If money was there to solve everything. Money cannot solve everything, but it does solve certain things. Sri Ramakrishna says it fulfills your basic needs. It gives you certain basic material comforts, which help you to live your life in a much better way. But to say that money, see, if you take the word money, and in English we have two things, what we call as intrinsic and extrinsic utilities. Like food, you have got a piece of bread before you. It is having an intrinsic ability to fulfill your need to overcome hunger or to get nutrition. Suppose you have got money. Money is not intrinsic, it's extrinsic. You can buy through money that food. You can't take a piece of 500 rupee note or and say I'll eat it. It is only an instrumental, extrinsic. It is not intrinsic. No, it helps you to buy things which are intrinsic. Like it helps you buy things which are to be consumed by the body. So money has got an extrinsic value in getting those things which are intrinsically helpful to us. But how much it can buy, how long? Afterwards, it comes to the level of ego. First, it is all the fulfillment, then it comes to the level of ego. So, one must be very careful not to get caught in that and remember the spiritual goal of life. That is what Swamiji and Sri Ramakrishna again and again have reminded us. Actually, the whole of our Sanatana Dharma effort is this only. It is not to create everyone into a monk, not it is everyone should be householder either. He says, whatever one is fit for, that you should go. You will find this in Holy Mother's life wonderfully illustrated. How she tells somebody, no, you should go and live this world, go and get married, have your own family set up, and take care of your parents, take care of your things. Similarly, she also tells somebody, no, you come and live here you want to become a monk, very good. So she is an extraordinary, actually this is what happened in Buddhist period. When Lord Buddha opened the door of monasticism to everyone, which was not so to begin with in the Vedic period. But it went to the other side. He said, now everyone should become a monk. So what happened then? If people started thinking that if I don't become a monk, then all my spirituality is gone. The Vedic ideal is dvavide nishtha prokta. There are two types of nishthas. Those who are fit for this kind of unselfish, complete, dedicated life, let them come to that. And those who want things of the world, enjoyments, let them enjoy that. But remember, all should be within the parameter of dharma, parameter of the ideal of self-control, ideal of slowly overcoming. We have a beautiful book in English. It's called An Outline of Hinduism by Swami Nirvedanandaji. So there he has given in detail various aspects of Hinduism, beginning with its Vedic origin, its Puranas, Smritis. He has given beautiful summaries in that. It is often used as one of the textbooks in our training center at Velur Math, training center for brahmacharis. Its available book is available for anyone's reading. It has got a Hindi version also, Hindu Dharm Ki Rooprekha. There is two chapters on Pravritti and Nivritti. In the Pravritti chapter, he says, Pravritti chapter is like the primary stage of life. If you say Pravritti is a primary stage of life, most of us are the primary stage of life. Most people. Then he says, person, as per the Upanishads, then he becomes matured. Then he comes to the Nivritti side. Pravritti and Nivritti, which means the worldly life, which is to be enjoyed within the parameters of Dharma, and there is the idea of complete renunciation. Complete renunciation may happen when one is young or in any other ashrama of his life. Ashrama means stage. It could be that he is a grihasthi, or when he is a vanaprasthi, or of course sannyasi is there. So yadhare virajed. Whenever you feel that you should go, there he says griheva vaneva. Whether you are inside the house or whether you are a vanaprasthi. So this idea he explains it in a very systematic. This is the original Hindu idea, that there is a place for both. And in Mahabharata it is said that a grihastha is like mother for all the other three ashramas. Just as there can be no human being without a mother, you can't take a birth without mother. Likewise, all the ashramas need a support, and that is where the wealth is generated and accumulated, which is what we call as a grihastha. So in the Sanatana Dharma we have the place for that also. At the same time, they say this is to be understood, it is to be led within the parameters of Dharma. One more question comes, how is the idea of karma born? We say that yes, everyone should do karma, or do more specifically karma yoga at a higher level. A lower level also karma is very important. Many times many governments, they give you so many freebies, people stop working. In many states it has happened. I found in some places in even Odisha and Tamil Nadu also, so many freebies were given. Many of the people will not do any activity. Whole day they will be spending time only in useless entertainments only. Because money is there, no government is giving freebies. That should not be done. People should work on them. At the same time, when you have started working also, there should be this higher ideal of that work purifies the mind. Work, if it is done in a right spirit, it purifies the mind. The word purity is to be taken in terms of attachment or non-attachment. That a person has become completely detached. How did the idea of karma come? This is one question. We'll take it up in the next class. One small introduction I'll give here and close for any questions. They say the word karma, the whole idea of karma starts from God Himself. It is not that I or somebody sat on some pedestal and said, now all should work. No, it's God Himself starts with karma. And the process that is told is that there are 2 or 3 verses here which speak of yajna. What is yajna? Not to be confused only with the fire ritual. Yes, fire ritual also is a yajna. But not to be restricted there alone. Yajna is a bigger concept. And in the Purusha Sukta said, this is the first principle of life itself. Yajnena yajnam ayajanta devaha tani dharmani prathamanyasan. Yajna means receiving and giving back. In the larger sense, whatever we receive from the Prakriti, now the word Prakriti means not just nature in terms of, say, there are, mountains and rivers and all things around. Prakriti should not be restricted to that only. Prakriti means anything other than the Atman. The two principles, an Atman principle and the Prakriti principle. So this Prakriti, whatever we take from the Prakriti, it could be the food that we take, the air that we take, and the money and the respect that we get from others, and the whatever comforts that we get from society, all things that we gain from the society as well as the natural Prakriti around us also. It's a cycle. You should not say that it should come to me and there it gets stuck. I will not give it to others. When you say it will come to me and I will not give it to others, he says the misery will start. The pain will start. A person may slowly develop wrong things in his life. Say, Shri Krishna said, Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhava yajnad bhavati parjanyo yajnah karma samudbhava karma brahmod bhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. I'll read the meaning and give a pause here. Beings are created from food. Annad bhavanti bhutani. And food is created from rain clouds. Rain clouds are created from sacrifices, and sacrifices are created from action. Know that action is created from the Vedas, and the Vedas are created from the Brahman. Therefore, the omnipresent Brahman is always present in sacrifices. We shall take it for discussion in the next session. Now, if you have any discussion for any point, any question, we'll discuss that.
Which part of Sanskrit karma becomes prarabdha?
That's very difficult to decide. That only the
First in, first out. There has to be some criteria. It can't be random also.
Ishwar Ichha. Ishwar Ichha, that Ishwar Karmadata. Karmadata, yes.
The recent frenzy around it, 65 crore people going in. Just one bit, can you remove prarabdha from such a vast level of humanity? I mean, what people have accumulated as karma, prarabdha karma, for 50 years. You just take a dip and then it vanishes. That's been the popular belief and one of the reasons of so many people. So if you could just give us some more insights into this. And the significance of Kumbh.
Kumbh is not just a spiritual event, it's also a social event also. Where all the Hindus have gathered, trying to show their, unity, solidarity. That was also one point. But one thing is that during that 45 days, it is connected with astrology also. It's 45 days. It was said that there are certain things available in the atmosphere which are very effective in removing your papa karmas. That is the belief. Whole thing is nothing but tremendous shraddha people have, which is nowhere you will find in the world. Maharaj has something to add to this.
Whatever you do with shraddha, it will have effect, certainly. How much of it is more no one has measured and seen. See, various days, in our Hindu tradition, so many things are done. But consistently, over a long period of time, you are able to set right many of the past errors, commissions, omissions, papa, etc. So, life itself, the moment you are born, consistently you have to be in that kind of endeavor. That is what is taught, that's how children used to be brought up. And then we have all given up, and then the previous night also they stay in a hotel and do drink everything, and morning go and take a dip, come back again, do that, nothing will happen. Then you have to remember that's only what Thakur has given. All your papas are waiting on the tree. The moment you come out of the water, again they will jump onto your shoulders.
And also Kabir Maharaj also has a very interesting say. All the fishes should be saints in Ganga.
If that was so.
So, just I will say just a couple of words. Because I'll be leaving now. Say what happened, somebody else also very sick. On the way, love to see that person go back, and tomorrow we have invited many Swamis, otherwise they wanted to be with Maharaj for the whole session. So what he says, when they suffered, they gave so much of intent, enthusiasm, felt sick, they had to go back. So what Shritacharyya says in Vekshudamani, Durlabham Treme Veda Devan Guretukam Manushyatvam Mumukshatvam Mahapurusha Samsaya. Three things are very rare: a human birth, then a company of the holy, and the desire for liberation. So quite often, we keep on postponing. They tell our devotees because today they have come big utsav, then for 7 days they will not come. No, it's not like that. Whenever there is a chance, because we do not know. The person we are going to see is very tall, 6-footer, robust, so healthy. Suddenly he is totally collapsing. So when you come every minute, whenever there is an opportunity, never postpone it. Never postpone. See, other worldly things we want to do immediately. When it comes to anything spiritual, we are postponing. Oh, kalbi karne mein hoga nahi. Today means today, now itself. Unless we have that kind of a drive, nothing significant will happen in our life. Yes, we are all getting good samskars by attending a class, being in a company, chanting something, listening to class. Yes, but that is only a very small part of it. If you want to really intensify, if you really want to realize the true goal of life, and that way, if that's our urgency, if we feel, every moment we should utilize. Never postpone anything. Anything is possible, whatever is possible. So that way only our life will be focused, and otherwise, being good, moral, ethical, they're all as part of life. No one, now even those things have to be told, cultivated, we have come to that level. Previously, ethical and moral life was assured. Then the journey would start. Now even that has become a great achievement. Even if people are, oh, he doesn't tell lies as if it's a great virtue, we are telling about people. Anyway, still, those of you who have come, Manoj is here for another 1.5 days, please make the best use of these sessions. Then come back again. Also, almost every month we are conducting retreat. Watch our website, tell your friends. The whole place was done so that devotees could really benefit. That was the idea. And we are trying to bring marriages. So many programs. Some of you also adjusted with me. Like that. We have a plan. I think 4 months or 5 months ago I wrote it. From then onwards I have been chasing him. Maharaj, have you booked your ticket? Have you booked your ticket? You must have had little night. What is this Swami again telling me? We wanted to make sure everything is in place. So please remember and try to make best use of the opportunities available. So that ultimately it's our Swamiji's grace from our part. Thank you. So nice, Madam. Thank you. Not able to be with you.